President Donald Trump and Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell not exactly seeing eye to eye these days. Hey, everybody, it's Chad Hasty, host of the Chad Hasty Show, which airs weekday mornings 8:30 to 11 a.m. Central Time on News Talk 95.1 FM and 790 a.m. KFYO. Well, President Trump sending out a tweet on Wednesday, sort of going after the Senate Majority Leader, but only after the Senate Majority Leader said something, well, quite frankly, stupid and in his home state. Reading from Politico here, Trump's punch at McConnell Wednesday came less than 48 hours after the Kentucky Republican suggested during an appearance in his home state that the president's inexperience gave him excessive expectations. I guess that the president it was too excessive to expect the Senate to rip up Obamacare. Yeah, that's what the main gist was. Even though, and as Politico points out, Republican leaders had projected days after Trump's inauguration that they would repeal the health care law and pass a tax bill by this month, neither of which actually happened. Donald Trump sending out a tweet this morning, quote, Senator Mitch McConnell said I had excessive expectations, but I don't think so. After 7 years of hearing repeal and replace, why not done? Frustration at the White House with McConnell's comments spilled into the open earlier Wednesday when Trump's social media director, Dan Scavino, quipped on Twitter that the Senate GOP leader, quote, must have needed another 4 years to repeal and replace Obamacare in addition to the 7 years since it became law. Listen, there's not a lot of love loss here between, I think, a lot of the Senate and even House Republicans and President Donald Trump. But listen, Republicans, you have to admit that even Donald Trump is right on this one. Republicans campaigned for 7 years. For 7 years, Republicans talked about repealing and replacing Obamacare. And then when time comes for you to actually repeal and replace, you don't have a plan ready to go. And you couldn't actually get any momentum to repeal and replace. It's not the president's fault that you weren't ready to go. That was your fault, congressional Republicans. Again, for 7 years, since day one that Obamacare passed, Republicans in the Senate and in the House, many of those who are still there today, campaigned and promised Republican voters, we have a plan. If you win us the Senate, that's what we need. If you give us the White House, that's what we need. We've got a great plan to repeal and replace Obamacare, and you've come up with nothing at all. It's not just President Trump who has expectations of Congress. It's also the Republican voters, the same voters you made promises to for 7 years about tax reform, about getting rid of Obamacare, and so many other things. This is another example of why Trump won back in November and actually took out the other Republicans during the Republican primary. It's because people have had expectations of Republican lawmakers in the past, and they have been failed by the Republican Party and Republican lawmakers in the Senate and in the House. And until Mitch McConnell understands that, he is only doing himself and the Republican Party harm. Tune in to the Chad Hasty Show weekday mornings, 8:30 to 11 a.m. Central Time, News Talk 95.1 FM, 790 a.m. KFYO. I'll be back on the show on Thursday. Don't forget, you can watch the show on YouTube live from 8:30 to 11 a.m. Central Time. Follow me on Twitter, Chad Hasty Radio. Have a great day.